everybody, and welcome back to my show. Let's talk about with Richa. And today, my guest is no other than Dr. Archana Agarwal ji. She is dear to my heart. I call her Didi. So if you sometimes hear me calling her Didi, so understand that means big sister. Because I have so much respect and I admire her, and she is such a big inspiration to so many people. Thank you, Archana, for letting us talk to you and taking out time to educate us and honor us with your presence. I'm so grateful.
Richa, the pleasure, I would say, is entirely mine, and nothing gives me bigger pleasure to interact. And it's all my privilege, I would say. Okay, I'll be very quick with my.
So please, please tell us a little bit about you and the work you do. You empower so many people with knowledge about their health. So please take us with on a journey for how you work and how you got into this work.
See, Richa, first of all, let me tell you, it is, I'm a therapeutic nutritionist. It's mostly that how diet as a therapy, how diet works as a therapy, not only to regenerate yourself, but the preventive aspect of a good diet is something which really fascinates me, which has always interested me. We have already, this is a old adage which says that prevention is better than cure. And present times, I think, no bigger reflection than the present times where this holds so true,
Yes.
The fear of COVID has kind of globally and kind of brought people together, and this can be used instead. See, there's always a flip side to everything.
Yes.
This is something people have connected together with each other on this common ground, I would say, So for me, diet is something, food is something which is to be enjoyed, relished. Food is something which nurtures you, nourishes you from the inside. It connects you, it binds you, and it makes a happy home.
Yes.
It's I've always felt that nothing is more welcoming than a healthy aroma of good food being cooked, fresh food being cooked at home. So a person coming back from work, or you yourself coming back from work, and nothing is more therapeutic than cooking food. When I counsel my clients, I always make sure that that session is full of recipes, and each ingredient that goes into that recipe, why is it important to have it? So when I did my dietetics and public health nutrition way more than 3 decades back, in 1985 to be precise, a long time back. So like for us, it was like medical students take their oath that they would put their knowledge to good use. It was something like that. We were just a batch of 20 students, and we had such wonderful 10 to, I think, 12 professors to us in a batch of 20 students. And that 1 year was concentrated dose of not just what nutrition is all about. It is what integrity, what value, what is being ethical all about, honesty, ethical. This is what I hold to my heart. This is very dear to my heart till today.
So what you're saying is that you started with that kind of education in 80s, which I think at that time there were hardly anybody talking about these things. In the 80s, there were not that much of what do you call it? This understanding. Now it's very common that everybody is looking into diets. They're trying to find recipes. Every second person is more focused on health. But in the 80s and 90s, people were not that focused on health. I believe
there's both sides to it, Richa, because now, as they say, this is the era in which maximum diseases have not happened due to lack of food, but because of food toxicity. There's too much available too easily.
Yeah.
So in the 80s, maybe we weren't talking so much about food because it was any which ways given the kind of importance it needed.
Yeah.
And with the kind of guidance that I had from our professors, they were mostly who had come back after doing their PhDs and doctorates from USA, Europe. So a lot of research was being done. For me, my foundation of good food and nutrition was laid in the college. And I always kept in touch with my subject, though I didn't formally get attached to any hospital or clinic, because to me, food counseling, diet counseling is not just about laying down a diet chart. It is about understanding the person. Correct. Getting to know that person, connecting to that person. We all know today there's so much of information holocaust. We know what is good, what is bad. But despite that, if a person is not doing well at his or her health front, then we need to understand the reasons behind them. And that takes time.
Exactly. And I think you're touching on a very important subject here, because a lot of, coaches and fitness, what do you call it? Teachers and they want to give you this diet plan. And I have experienced that myself living here in Norway many years ago. I think 10 years ago, after I gave birth to my second child, I wanted to focus on my diet. So what happened is that I contacted an expert and said, help me. And without actually understanding that I have nut allergy for nuts and I'm allergic to honey, and I don't eat every kind of meat. I don't like every kind of vegetable. They just put this plan in front of me: eat this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, and then evening, in the night, eat something. And then they just gave it to me, and it was very generic. It was something that fit everybody, but not me. I couldn't find that sometimes I need to eat Indian. How much calories is it in Indian, or how much protein would I weigh in that Indian food? At that time, 10 years back, nobody was helping me out with that. So I had to, find my own ways. But I guess this approach is very, very different, where you get in touch with that person. And I love what you said earlier. Everything in the recipe has a reason why you put it there. Which I love. If somebody can tell me why I have to take it, then it sticks. Then I will take it.
And it has to be a very flexible, something which can be modified, and it is not a one-stop solution. There's such a wide variety of food, but it is just understanding what kind of food, and it's the method of cooking, the utensils that you use. Many things go into the cooking. You can use the organic food to avoid the chemicals, but you could be cooking in a utensils which is just leaching chemicals into your food.
Correct.
So it's a complete holistic approach to food, the kind of attitude with which food is cooked, and the kind of attitude with which it is eaten, digested, and absorbed, which comes to the main.
So tell me a little bit more about what you're saying there, because the way it's eaten. So how do you suggest one should eat? After, let's say, we follow the recipe you tell us to do in the safe way, and let's say we are finished with the cooking. Now, what is the next step you guide them to do?
The next step is, when you eat, it has to be with the attitude of gratitude. When the mind is at peace, when your body registers hunger. Now you cannot wait. You have to cultivate that thing. So once you start eating on time, and eating on time always begins with getting up on time, respecting the circadian cycle. Okay. So when you get up on time, your day kickstarts in the way it is meant to, and when you add fuel, not to the fire, but you add fuel to get your fire on.
Yes.
So when you get the fuel. So now when we are eating on time with the right attitude, the food converts into energy and not the undesirable fat, and the waste products are also eliminated by the body in the manner they are meant to. One single requirement that the body asks you, which we need to respect our body. It is not something that we own, and it is not a choice. It is a huge responsibility we owe to ourselves and to the people around us. It's not the law of the jungle. I'll do what I wish to. And you need to actually, we live in a society. We start from the family to the society to the country to the human being as a race. So when you eat on time, just the one simple discipline of eating on time, by getting up on time and eating with that gratitude and that trust that this food is going to nurture and nourish me. See, you could cook an organic dish in the best of utensils, but while eating, you are forever questioning, is it going to help me? Is it good for me? So that thought process itself will hinder the process of digestion.
I don't think a lot of people are that aware where they think, is this going to help me? Ulta hota hai. They think this, they know this might harm them. You know, the food they're eating. If they eat a cake, or if they're eating fries, or if they're eating anything talawa, you know, the pakoras and everything, the first thing that goes into mind, oh, this is not healthy. Even if they love the food, they're not asking, will this help me? I think a lot of people sit with that guilt. But I deserve to, you know, pamper myself today. You know, today is always today. You know, you always pamper yourself. From tomorrow, I'll think about the health, and tomorrow never comes. So I think a lot of people are not that aware to ask, is this going to help me? Because if you ask that, then I believe then you have already won half of the battle, because then you become so aware that this food will help me. Whereas I think majority of the people eat with the conscious, like guilty feeling that this is gonna harm me. So, you know, they Richa, know that it is gonna harm me, you know, I think.
Richa, this guilt comes due to lack of awareness. Another thing which I really try to put in is that we need to understand the functioning of our body. Okay, when we understand the functioning of our body, the logic behind eating certain foods just becomes apparent. Okay, and that guilt should be replaced by confidence in your body, that once in a while, because of, call it indulgence, call it necessity, that you are hungry and you don't have a healthier option, so-called healthier option. So rather than staying hungry, starving yourself at that moment, if you take up some portion of so-called unhealthy food, French fries, I would still say that having a small packet of, you know, you don't need to feed yourself on those fries, but as the time interval between your meal keeps increasing, your body registers, your brain registers hunger. If it goes to that starvation wala mode, it can register it as a lot of stress. That itself, so we don't need to go to the extreme that every time we are indulging in only what catches our fancy. At the same time, if you are trying to look only for healthy options and starving ourselves, that is also not a very nice frame of mind. And as we cultivate, as we start getting more time, as we start eating on time, the body is the best judge. No doctor, no dietitian will guide you better than your own self. Your inclination.
That is so profound. That is so, I believe so too, that you yourself is your best doctor, because you know your body best. But you have to do that work, because to crack that code for the signals that the body is sending, if you don't take it, because we haven't learned that, you know, there is no manual coming, guidance coming with our body, ki, this is how this signal means this, or this signal means that. And I really believe that we have lost some of that knowledge that used to be passed on from generation to generation. Ki, if your body is telling you this is the symptom of that. You know, I think that is gone. And we rely too much on the doctors instead of understanding what our body is saying. And the same goes with, as what you're saying, what does our body need of food? What does it requires? As you're saying, if we can do that preventive work, we might not fall as much sick. But Archana ji, you have something which I found always very interesting when we talk. Once we talk for hours. But when we talk, you touch into gut health. Often you talk about gut health, and which is very interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about gut health? Because I think a lot of people don't understand. They say, okay, we have the only thing they will refer to is gut feeling, but they don't understand what gut feeling means, you know. But what is actually gut health?
So Richa, when we refer to the word gut, it's basically a slang word. It's not a scientific term. It refers to the small intestine. Okay. The small intestine is the place where the final digestion and absorption of whatever you eat takes place. The fate of the food is how it reaches the blood is actually decided in the health of the small intestine. There's a single layer of cells through which the first contact of the food of the outside world. The food is the outside world, and the inside world is our blood, through which the food is absorbed from the gut into the blood, and the blood carries it to each single cell. Okay. Gotcha. And the purpose of eating food is to generate energy for our body to work, not just outside work, but inside. The functioning of the body is all dependent on the energy. So gut is the small intestine, and the gut lining is of prime importance because of two reasons. 70 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So if the health of the gut, of the small intestine is not good, if it is forever challenged by chemicals, by infections, bacteria that might come through our food, or through preservatives, the chemicals which seep into our food, the preservative, or chemical laden fertilizers and all these which are used for vegetables and fruits. So now this immune system will forever be challenged, and it will be fighting off, because along with the food, if all these things enter the bloodstream, we will have a multiple organ, if not failure, multiple organ dysfunction. Okay. Yeah. So the biggest challenge to the immune system is to ensure that the food being absorbed from the small intestine and entering the blood is clean. It's only those nutrients which can be recognized by the body enter there and go and do the work. Okay. So if we are forever eating food which is either stale will always mean it is infested with some kind of bacterial overgrowth.
Okay.
If it is chemical infested, if we are having too much of non-vegetarian food, animal origin food, which has got high fat content, that is also something which is challenged by the immune system. Too much of fat and sugar is also a source of challenge to the immune system. So what happens, the single layer cell through which the food exchange takes place, it is very tightly packed, and it only opens for those minuscule time when the totally digested fat, proteins, and carbohydrates get transferred to the blood. When there is repeated incidence of this inflammation, when the inflammation is nothing but the immune system at work, then this gap increases and many chemicals, bacteria, undigested protein particles can pass on to the blood. Now, through the blood, they can reach and get lodged in any of the organ. So you understand?
So that, I am understanding. So that is also often the cause for different diseases and inflammation. Inflammation. A lot of people experience inflammation in the muscles of their legs, or back pain, or shoulder pain, or all sort of, they say, okay, I have an inflammation somewhere. So that can be one of the reasons why this is happening.
See, so Richa, normal body functioning, whenever we breathe, we eat, we digest, there is something called oxidative stress, which is a normal part of the metabolic process, wherein our body has antioxidants. These oxidative stress free radicals are generated by the body, waste products, which are cleared off by an antioxidant produced by the body. This is a normal, healthy body functioning. This, when you say that inflammation hai shoulder mein, it means that there is oxidative stress is more than what the body can handle. Okay. Or some undesirable chemical or pathogen has traveled through the gut into the bloodstream and got lodged in that particular area.
Okay.
The majority of the degenerative diseases would happen through the gut. So in our Ayurveda, 5,000 years back, it was said all diseases begin in the gut. You go to any Ayurvedic doctor, they will always treat your gut. They will first only check about your digestive system, about your elimination process. Once that is put right, any problem, whether arthritis, diabetes, everything is all governed to the good health. The existing COVID, when we were told repeatedly that diabetes and hypertension, it has been scientifically, it is a little too fresh a topic to be actually be put down for general public. But when I keep hearing all these institutes which are really working towards it, they say it's not as if I don't know, the subject is so vast, I don't know where to begin and where to, there's something called, I'll just put it very briefly because we can carry it on in our further sessions. The microorganism, the number of microorganism in our body, there are variations, they say, is almost 10 times than what we have human cells. And these microorganisms are bacteria, fungus, virus, parasites. It is not. The moment we hear the word bacteria, we always think of an infection. The moment we hear virus, we think of some disease. It's not like that. They're all living in harmony in a certain number. But when we don't sleep right, when we don't eat right, when we are indulging in too much of alcohol, smoking, when we are causing too much of oxidative stress, this balance gets disturbed. Okay, so what has been found is that a person with hypertension or diabetes has the same kind of gut health as a person who's got COVID.
Okay.
So that environment in the gut creates the breeding of the virus. Get my point. We need to create an environment where the virus doesn't survive.
Correct. Yeah.
A healthy gut will not allow, they also need their food. They need a particular environment to thrive.
Yeah. Okay. So if I understand that's right, that if somebody has a good gut health and a stronger immune system, which is then based on a good health, gut health. Now, if your gut health is okay, then your immune system will be stronger, right?
Yes.
And then even if you're exposed to COVID, you might not fall sick, or you might not feel the same symptoms as everybody else because your immune system is strong enough to fight it. Yeah, right? Am I understanding this right?
Very right. See, Richa, I would love to share that I have a very keen interest in onco-nutrition. I've been for now almost a decade been talking vastly on the prevention of cancer and how gut health has a major role to play. Cancer cells, we all have cancer cells in our body, but it needs a certain number to get transformed into a tumor. And it takes years. The body gives us years to rectify and mend our ways. So if we have a strong gut system, it will recognize a strong immune system, and which is based on good gut health. It will recognize the cancer cells and do away with them, not allow them to grow to that number where they become a tumor. Okay.
Yeah.
So even in the prevention and even during the ongoing treatment of cancer and to prevent the reoccurrence of cancer, something like infertility, everything is related to gut health. I have keen interest in hormonal health and cancer only because these are areas where we raise our hands. We just leave it to fate. It is not bad destiny or bad, it is just, karma. It is just that what we have allowed, and the body and good food helps us to connect to ourselves. The body gives us symptoms which we ignore.
So, as I have understood, because I am not a nutritionist, but I've been due to some supplements that I came over last year. I changed a lot of my health. I started with supplements, and they changed my energy. I have higher energy. I feel stronger. I never felt so strong as I've been these past 2 years because of these supplements. I don't know, I feel, good and strong, not just from within, but I actually feel very strong also mentally. And you were telling me once that our gut is connected to our brain, Yes. So could you talk more about that? That interests me a lot because I do work with a lot of people who are, experiencing depression, especially now being locked down after so long, they feel lonely. So it goes both on their mental health and emotional health. But it was really interesting that you touched into your gut health connecting with your mental health.
Great. So, Richa, as a fetus, it has been discovered that the brain and the gut are made from the same tissue.
Oh,
and that connection remains as we become an adult also. So how good gut health is a way of ensuring good emotional health is, I'll tell you, there's something called gut-brain axis. There's an axis which runs right from the gut, from the brain, from the gut to the brain. Okay. Oh. So the terms like brain fog and all these, I would say emotional disturbances which result in anxiety, depression, they are not just psychological, they are physiological. They are a reflection of the physiological dysfunction of the gut. See, as I explained to you, there's a gut lining from where the food from the gut goes into the blood. Same way, from the blood to the brain, when the blood travels to the brain, there is a barrier, there is a check post. Okay, now this check post is all about ensuring that the blood is not infested with anything which can affect the brain. Brain is the CEO of our body. It commands all the functions. We can't afford to have any. But if this blood-brain barrier gets compromised, again, because of the same reasons, as I said, if something unwanted has entered the blood, it will hinder the blood-brain barrier. That hindrance, that pathogen, chemical, anything which enters the blood, it causes inflammation in the brain, and that part of the brain which is affected would result in a manifestation in the form of anxiety, depression. You know, we have different areas, different departments in the brain which take
of the brain,
different function. So wherever that unwanted element gets lodged, that area gets affected, and then it manifests. Now, supposing it happens once in a while, it's not going to happen कि अगर आपने एक बार गलत खा लिया, you had some outside food or you had some infection. But repeated instances result. You know, the body really takes care. Our body has been designed by the divine in such a beautiful manner. We get to know about symptoms only when it has fought nth number of battles.
Yes.
It keeps giving us even a small bloating, you know, repeated instances of acidity are not something to be treated with an antacid. The body is trying to tell, I am not good inside. We need to look into our sleep, into our physical regime, into our thoughts, into our food. Food is a major part of the entire story, but not the only part.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, when we eat with gratitude, when we eat with mindfulness, we will chew well, we will digest well, we'll absorb well, we'll have energy for the brain and the body to work in sync. And when you talk about supplements, I need to acknowledge the beautiful power of omega-3, which I got to, you know, which connected as you shared to me about it. And, you know, I'll be very honest, Richa, I think I must have mentioned that to you also. Since I'm not into hardcore clinical nutrition, so I had always believed that maximum nutrition should come through food that we eat.
Correct.
Okay. But omega-3, you know, there are nth number of brands, and I had been very firm all through these 3 decades that I would not speak about any supplements, because that I always feel a healthy body can draw its nutrition from wholesome foods, plant-based wholesome foods. Okay. In cold countries like Norway, having a fish is kind of, you know, it comes naturally. It is needed, the cold weathers. So anyways, but the most important part of omega-3 is that when I've been telling about absorption, as they say, it is not about, you are not what you digest, you are what you absorb. You could be eating the best of foods, but if you don't absorb it well.
Correct.
So the major part of the omega-3 fatty acids is to strengthen that cell membrane where the exchange of nutrients take place, both ways. The good ones enter and the bad ones get eliminated.
Correct.
Ingestion, that is eating, is as important as excretion.
Correct.
This can only, and this has to happen at the cellular level. Each cell, see, when we talk about a country, we talk about the globe, it is about when each human being is healthy, each human being's health matters for a global happiness. It's not as if a country cannot be happy if each individual is not happy. So the same way the body cannot be healthy. We talk about organ system. The organ system is made up of cells. Each cell needs to be nourished and nurtured. So this is where we don't need to have, unless and until the body's clinical demand is there, we should not be having, depending on only supplements for iron, calcium, and other important minerals. But omega-3 is something which is intrinsic to the health of each cell. So we need to ensure that whatever we eat is being absorbed and taken up by the body for optimal functioning.
So if I understand you correctly, is that omega-3 helps our cell membrane, which I have understood. But that is essential for us to make the cell membrane elastic enough to absorb the food we are eating. So it doesn't matter if we're eating supplements or if you're eating good quality food or anything, if the cell cannot absorb it and get rid of the waste, doesn't matter what kind of food you're eating, right? So so the first step needs to be to take omega-3 or fatty acids that can create that cellular health. And then uske baad, the next step will be then eating properly so that the cell can absorb that nutrition and then send it out to the blood, which again send it out to all the organs and brain and everything. So
maintaining a good, I'll just, sorry to interrupt in between. I just thought that I'll bring in another aspect of weight. See, to me, weight loss has never been a part of the cosmetic. If somebody comes to me for a weight loss, if he or she quotes a cosmetic reason for it, it doesn't interest me. For me, maintaining a desirable body weight is all about staying healthy.
Yes.
So as we eat better, we digest better, and we absorb better, our portion sizes automatically become smaller. We don't constrain, we don't put restraint. As we eat better, we digest better, and we absorb better, we generate better amounts of energy. The body gets optimal energy to do its various functions, and it does not store that extra calories as fat.
Correct. But I remember we also talked about that having a certain weight and not gaining weight is also not healthy. It's not always about losing weight, but for some people, the issue is to gain weight. Because there are many people who are underweight, and they might look pretty because they are slim, but in reality, doesn't mean that they are healthy.
Oh yes. See, for each, there are certain standards which have been said that this is what is a desirable body weight at a certain age and height and height.
Correct.
And as you very rightly said, I always say, in fact, there are a couple of, recently I have clients who are really trying very hard to put on weight. So to me, not either having excess surplus weight on you or not being able to gain weight are both a reflection of, these are metabolic aberrations. Somewhere the body's functioning is, the body is not getting what it requires.
Yeah, correct.
It's so, and again, I would say oxygen. So that's where your blood circulation, because the blood, the oxygen is the fuel to burn your food. So your blood circulation has to be good, and the nutrition. So, that's why I'll say they couple your food with good breathing exercises, meditative practices, which put you in that rest, digest, and heal mode. If you are forever stressed, the body will not rest, digest, and heal. It will always be in that, danger mode. The danger, challenge. So all these little things add on to the entire functioning of the body. We always, the reasons for not gaining weight could be as simple as being too stressed out all the time.
Another thing that I know that you do to take care of yourself is you take a nap in the middle of the day. I'm giving everybody out your secret. Now tell me, why do you do that?
It is not a secret at all. In fact, I find it so amusing, Richa, that even people who have recently come into my life also would know about it. They say, no, we didn't call you because I knew you would be taking a nap. So somewhere I felt good. I'm so predictable. I have
it's an inspiration, because my mom used to say you can't sleep, or my mom was taught not to sleep in the daytime because if you sleep, you lose out. And, shouldn't sleep, and only lazy people sleep in the daytime. So my mom taught me that, But now I'm seeing the effect of the benefit from it, and I want to ask: is there any reason why you do that, other than?
Huh. No. See, this is something which I encourage as a like my mom tells me that even when when I was as young as 7 or 8 year old, I from that time I started taking this nap. Today I'm 58. It's a good 50 years I've been. Whether I'm so but the thing was that you would hold everybody in there. Nobody could do anything. You're not supposed to make a sound, and obviously in those days we didn't have any kind of soundproof glasses or anything. So I would sleep, and it was actually that half an hour. I just needed that half an hour. Most of my friends would tell me that if we sleep, we cannot get up before 2 hours. It is all about disciplining your body. Till date, what happens is, I guess, Richa, there's a physiological reason behind it also. See, when we eat our lunch, which for many of us, at least in those my growing up years, used to be one of my major meals, coming back from school and having a wholesome good meal. So now all your energy goes into the digestion process. Somewhere you do feel drowsy. It's very normal to feel drowsy. It is not about I'll not have a heavy meal because I'll feel drowsy. Yes, if you're at work, so definitely you should make food choices which will not be too much of burden to your digestive system.
Correct.
See, we do eat food to generate energy, but we take up a lot of energy to digest food. So whenever we are unwell, haven't we heard ki halka khana khao? Because we want to give maximum energy for the body to heal. But as a healthy individual, when after a meal, about half an hour or so, when the actual digestion process starts, if you rest, then you are ensuring that all the energy reserves are going in for the digestion process. You're just allowing the body to do its job. Fair point.
Nice.
So if you are moving, working, brain takes up 20% of your total energy. So if you're at work, पढ़ाई करने वाले बच्चों को ताकत चाहिए, they need to eat good food. Yes. Brain takes up a lot of energy. So the reason why I inculcated this habit was that after half an hour, I would sleep for half an hour. And by the time I would get up, my food would be digested, majorly digested, not the final digestion. So that heaviness was out of my body, and I'm nice and fresh till you call me at 10, I'll sound as fresh as I'm sounding now.
Yeah. I think that's very important, because there's some days, not often, but some days I might feel a little bit drowsy and I can't do anything then just to sleep. So 10 to 20 minutes, if I get this power nap, I can, I feel fresh and I feel like it's the next day, and I can go on for another 12 hours minimum, But so this is an important tip to take care of yourself. Now, I want to move on to how do you manage your time? Since you have so many different roles and so many roles, you fulfill so beautifully and with high quality. How do you manage your time?
So Richa, as I told you, I'm a people's person. I love I love to chat with my client. Like my if you were to visit me during my counseling sessions, you would most probably think that I have called over somebody for tea. That's all. Because it's a chit chat for at least an hour, and that's how you get connected.
Yes.
So for me, to be organized is very essential, and I would say it becomes a part of you. You start reaping the benefits of a disciplined life. You do start as an exercise. Each parent tells his or her child that you should be getting up on time. So it's just that I carried on my childhood habits till the time I got. I stay in a joint family where getting up on time, doing the morning. My husband would leave for work at 8:30. So before that, there's always some fresh fruits, some fresh breakfast cooked, and he carries his meal. So it was a part, like even as my growing up children, my kids are just 1.5 years apart. They were just like twins. So I would say, being organized means, supposing it is like, let me begin, because I love cooking. Till date, I cook. I do take help from my helping hands at home, but then I love to cook. Now, things like as storage. Since we don't use too much of onion or garlic, so for us, ginger and green chilies form a major part of my, adding on to my spices. So a little thing like having your ginger and green chili chopped for a couple of days and stored in nice glass containers, and having your vegetable chopped, And if you have to soak rice and dal, so I take them out right in the night only. I don't know, I might oversleep by 5-10 minutes. And the sense that you're all set for the next day. Now, this is a food part. If I have to go out for a meeting, right from my, bag and my computer to my charger to even that's small, whatever I would want to wear. I'm a sari person, so my sari would be out, my clothes would be out. As I take a shower, my gown would be there. So you're all set in the mind. So when you finally lie down at bed also, you are prepared. You are not forever thinking that I might not be organized.
Okay. So you plan everything down to a detail the day before, or so that
it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
It becomes a part. Like it becomes like you don't plan to brush your teeth, so you don't plan that you have to take out your clothes. But if it's a bigger affair, if you have more people coming in, then I'm still my old-fashioned diary and pen person. I'll note down everything which I need to do. Okay. It really works beautifully for all my trips abroad. You start planning from about a month before. I have visit my kids. I want to carry food. I want to cook. I want to take care of my own nitty-gritties also and everything. The same way what I wanted. So maintaining a diary is the best way of
wow.
It really takes care.
Wow. Yeah. That's something to take with us, to organize in the details and keep a diary and pen. I love that too. I also have my diaries, even though I have all the technology I need, but I somehow can't be able to do it online. I love my diary and my pen. So I am totally with you there. And the last question, and then we will wrap up. How do you define success? Because you are very successful, and we can search your name and you're all over, and so much content and knowledge that you have. So how do you define success? When do you feel successful?
See, everybody has different parameters. First of all, I would say, everybody will have. I find success in being able to see a huge happy smile on people when I have made something nice, cooked something for me. That is also success. Each small thing can be a success. For me to be able to overlook something which I was really eagerly waiting for and it didn't happen, that's also success. Like something which I wasn't able to do maybe 2 years back. For me to take my disappointments and my achievements in a stride is also success.
Oh, wow.
To be happy for others is a huge feeling of success.
Yes.
To have so many people, good people connected who are there, who are actually a phone call away.
Nice.
And even more than that, that connection is success,
Yes.
This heart-to-heart connection is success. And at the end of the day, I would say that success is something which you consciously don't work towards. It's that belief that if you do things in the right manner, whatever comes your way is success.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Archana ji. I am blown away. This is so much knowledge and so much to think about. I think most of us got, after watching this interview, they'll think, how do I, what is the success that I have today? Yeah.
Success
so I know I said it was last question, but just popped into my mind. And since this is my show, I can have as many last questions as I want. Okay. So you said, every small thing like a connection or something is a success. But do you celebrate your success? Do you celebrate your wins? Because I have learned that the hard way, that I want to celebrate every major, but also every small win that I have, either throughout the day or throughout the project or whatever I'm doing. I always remind myself that, yes, this is one thing, a little thing I did, which makes me happy, which is a success, and I celebrate. So how do you celebrate all the small successes that you have?
That's actually essential, Richa, to celebrate. For me, celebration is showing gratitude.
Yeah.
See, it's only when you see, celebration is not about partying away or, it is acknowledging. It's like celebrations. To me, any celebration, when you celebrate your birthday, that is also acknowledging
Yes.
For me, though, it's always a reason to have people over. Even now.
Me too. Me too. I just love that. Oh, man, I'm always grateful when I can celebrate my birthday. I just love celebrating life. And then I have I just had another year. I celebrate that I was lucky, or I had the fortunate to be living another year. I celebrate that, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And celebration should not be judged by whether it's a huge achievement, then it calls for a celebration. You have to, it's only when we acknowledge those small little steps that we take forward that the big ones happen, and that faith comes in, that big things are on our way. And yes, celebration to me is plain gratitude and happiness and sharing.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you, Archana ji, so much for giving us this time of yours and all the knowledge. And we are so honored to be able to connect with you. And we're looking forward to the next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richa. Thank you. This is a Sunday afternoon very well spent, I would say.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All my love and blessings to everybody in Norway, to your friends, family, everybody.
Thank you.